Good evening everyone, and welcome to a cook's tour and our very short introduction to tonight's special wine pairing, which many of you have chosen. Now, there's no better accompaniment to the subtle spices found in Vietnamese cuisine than the fabulously tropical flavours you'll find in a glass of Pinot Gris. For tonight's wine pairing, we have sourced a Pinot Gris which is made by one of the most exciting winemakers in the Southern Hemisphere. Jules Taylor has just recently been awarded the prestigious New Zealand Winemaker of the Year award, and in a moment we're going to be taking a trip to the Jules Taylor estate in Marlborough to meet Jules herself so she can tell us a little more about the wine we're drinking tonight. But first, I would like to thank our friends at Decorum Vintners who have known Jules for a long time and have set up this very special rendezvous. If you'd like to try more of Jules's wines, then please do visit the Decorum website. So, at this point, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to travel 12,000 miles to Marlborough, New Zealand, and over to Jules Taylor.
Welcome to a cook's tour with Rocket and this wine pairing masterclass. I'm Jules Taylor from Jules Taylor Wines in Marlborough, New Zealand, and it's my privilege to share with you our 2020 Pinot Gris. I really wish I could be there in person, but you know, that's just not possible. I think you've got some beautiful dishes that you're going to be preparing this evening, and this Pinot Gris I think will match beautifully with them. Pinot Gris as a variety is, you know, it's a crowd pleaser. You know, it ticks all the boxes. You know, if you're having a fight with your partner about what you're going to be drinking with the meal, just grab a Pinot Gris. It's your best friend. Right from 2001, we've always made this wine in a dry style. I think for me, dry Pinot Gris, it's a much more versatile drink. You can, you know, just have a glass sitting at the bar, one glass, and be happy. It goes with lots of different foods. Whereas, you know, the sweeter ones for me, I'm great with one glass with one particular dish, but after two glasses, I find them a little bit, just a little bit sweet for my palate. So yeah, when you're buying a Jules Taylor Pinot Gris, you know you're getting a dry style. The grapes for this wine come from 3 different vineyards, one in the Southern Valleys. Will and Jane Grigg have the most amazing site that grows lots of different varieties. And for them, Pinot Gris is probably the latest one that they've added to their stable of wines. Some of the fruit from there we hand harvest and whole cluster pressed into old barrels for the more textural component. The other 2 vineyards are in the lower Waido, or sort of Grovetown and Spring Creek region, our sub-region of Marlborough. Depending on where you're growing these grapes and the soil types and just, you know, the farmer and their plant husbandry, you get quite a lot of, you know, difference in flavour profile, which again, you know, as a blended wine, I think that gives you, you know, lots of different things going on. In terms of winemaking, the Pinot Gris, some of it's hand harvested, whole cluster pressed into old barrels, and by old I mean ancient. You know, they've been through the Chardonnay program. They're, you know, they're looking pretty long in the tooth. But for me, they provide a vessel that is small, and with that hand-picked fruit, you get quite a lot of solids in the juice. So that when you're fermenting that in a small vessel, it gets nice and hot and it creates some kind of really quite interesting characteristics. The majority is machine harvested and fermented really cool in a stainless tank with a selected yeast. Let's have a taste. I think the first thing that jumps out of the glass for me with the Pinot Gris is this beautiful sort of stone fruity character, if you can imagine your grandma's old peach tree. So you get those beautiful stone fruits. Again, there's a little bit of citrus. I mean, we are a cool climate, so I think that citrus is one of the flavours we see in a lot of the white aromatics here. And also I think you get a little bit of that kind of honeyed, more sort of toasty kind of character from the wild fermentation. It's delicious, it's so easy to drink, and I think, you know, because Pinot Gris as a variety tends to have a lower acid profile, so, you know, if you compare it with Sauvignon Blanc, I think acid is the one thing that does put some people off Sauvignon Blanc, whereas this guy is a much more subtle, it has a much more subtle kind of acid profile. Again, you taste, it's got a little bit more texture from the wild fermentation. It's nice and dry, but not too, it's not going to rip the old inside of your mouth off. And those beautiful stone fruit characters. I mean, it's all there. For me, there is nothing better than cooking, with your family, or if you're a little bit of a control freak like me, you make them just sit with a glass of wine and watch. But cooking for your family, it's one of those beautiful things. For me, food and wine transports you to somewhere else. So, while all that stuff is going on out there, the world that we're living in at the moment is it's a really tough but kind of interesting place at the same time. And I think that food and wine can just make you forget about that for a little bit. So it's time to get cooking. I hope you have a fabulous evening. Remember to save a couple of glasses to actually try with the meal. Don't open it too soon. I hope you enjoy the wine, and if you'd like to buy some more, it's available through deckvin.com. Have a wonderful time and take care.
evening and a warm welcome to a cook's tour with Rocket.
Vegetables, and as you see, sizzle, sizzle, sizzle. And what I want you to do is put the space there, top yolk right in the middle.
Good evening and a warm welcome to a cook's tour with Rocket and our next destination, Discover Vietnam, from Hanoi to Ho Chi Minh. My name is Charlie Grant Peterkin and I'm here, like you, to learn from the master, Mr. Ryan Stafford. Hello, Ryan.
Charlie, welcome. Welcome to everyone at home. It's good to be here. A very, very exciting time as well, Vietnam.
Yeah, God, it's going to be a super, super cook-along. So, okay, intrepid cooks, a quick 2-minute briefing on Vietnam. So, Vietnam, it has a population of 90 million, a country extending along the Indo-Chinese peninsula of Southeast Asia.
You're going to do your bit, Charlie.
It borders Laos, Cambodia and China and has an S shape of coastline stretching over 2,000 miles. It can be broadly separated into 3 regions. You have in the north, northern Vietnam, with the capital Hanoi. It has a temperate climate of warm summers and mild winters. The cooler climate limits the spice production, so you tend to find food that is less spicy with more balanced flavours. In central Vietnam, we see the emergence of the tropical climate, and with its mountainous terrains makes it perfect for growing spices. Hue is the ancient capital of Vietnam, and here you find food that is steeped in tradition, sometimes more complex and colourful. Okay, and then we come down to the south, where it's hot and tropical, the bustling commercial capital of Ho Chi Minh City, and down to the watery Mekong Delta. This region is perfect for growing a wide variety of fruit, vegetables, rice, livestock, and an abundance of fresh herbs. So, Vietnamese food is a smorgasbord of influence. Regional cuisine, China, Laos, Cambodia, India, Thailand, and of course the French, the food powerhouse of Europe. And because of that, you're never that far from a good cup of coffee and a crispy baguette. So Ryan, tell us, what is so special about Vietnamese food?
Do you know what? It's got a flavour profile. It's absolutely amazing. And just before we start that, Charlie, my hand's on there. I did a cracking job. I think
you were brilliant.
You should do the cooking today. I'm going to put the tools down for a minute. But you've got a beautiful flavour profile, Charlie. And for you guys at home, you've got freshness like never before. So you've got sweet, sour, bitter, spice. What's the final one? It's just gone out of my head. Salty?
Yes.
So it's all there. And again, kind of these rich broths, fragrant herbs, a little bit of heat, just kind of tickling the taste buds with all that freshness. Is just a harmony.
Oh, that's
not to be tested. Yeah.
So it's a harmony of those sort of 5 sort of flavour profiles and getting those right.
Fresh, heat, moorish, without the frying, without the dairy. You know, it's beautiful. It's definitely a beautiful cuisine to explore.
Gosh, okay, this is exciting stuff. So just a reminder at home, you can cook along live with us now, or you're welcome to cook later. And I always like to say welcome to Friday Cook, so welcome. Great to have you on board too. There is the live chat function, so please do post any questions you have and Michael will respond. There is the space bar, so we're going to go along at a good pace tonight. There's lots to get through, so please hit the space bar if you need to pause for a moment and catch up. And of course, the booklet. Read through the booklet. It has the specific cook-along instructions, so that can help you on your voyage as well. And finally, our social handles. We love seeing photos of your creations.
We do.
We do. So please get posting. Use the hashtag #CookWithRocket and tag a cook's tour. Wow, Ryan, okay, look, let's crack on. Tell us what's on the menu tonight.
We've got, as always, Charlie, my favourite words to announce the menu are, you know, complexity like never before. We have got a beautiful papaya salad.
Yes.
Some toasted beans and an amazing beer vinaigrette, just because. We've got some squid, which is a great kind of classical dish, gui muk, which is going to be incredible. We'll come back to that. We've got I would say a backbone dish, and almost like a national triumphant dish, which is pho. Predominantly a broth. We've got some nice wagyu going in there because we wouldn't use anything else really. Got all those punchlines in there coming from that, some rice noodles.
And we've all had pho a lot, haven't we, out, but who's really made pho at home?
Exactly, and that's why we're doing it as well, and some skills to take note of that. And then for dessert, we have got a beautiful rice pudding, some black sesame, and some kefir, vanilla and coconut jus. So
incredible. Did we mention the rainbow rolls?
We didn't. That was a little surprise in there. I was hoping you didn't notice, but you are on the ball, Charlie. Again, Vietnamese rolls, everyone thinks they've had them. I'm going to teach you a really, really simple way today to get some simple ingredients into a roll, finger food like never before, with a dip that's going to blow your mind.
Okay, let's get cooking.
Cool. So basically, first things first, rice noodles. Guys, before I go into that, the best thing you can do is get the kettle on now, because we're on set. As always, Blue Peter style, Charlie. We've got some water ready to go. You just want to bring it up to the boil. We're going to pop these rice noodles in there just to soften up, maybe for 3-4 minutes, and then we'll drain them off and we'll come back to them later on.
And this is for the pho that we'll be cooking along later, yeah?
It's for the pho.
Great.
Delicious pho that we'll be doing later. So, let me grab a little bowl.
There are loads of different types of rice noodle, aren't there? And these ones are seem to be a very thin gauge.
Vermicelli.
Okay.
As I know, vermicelli rice noodles, you may have seen them we're going to do some rolls today with just vegetables, but they're used in Vietnamese rolls. They're used to crisp up and put on top of like hot soups and pho, and predominantly rice. So that's around Asia and Asian cooking culture. You see egg noodles, you see udon
Perfectly
noodles.
judged amount of water. So just enough water, hot water off the boil just to cover it, yeah?
Exactly.
And then what's the plan? They're just going
to sit there, do their thing. Your kettle should be boiling now. You're going to do the same, and we're just going to come back to those in a couple of minutes, drain them, and set them aside for later on.
Now we're sort of doing things a bit in reverse, aren't we? Because we're going to get dessert on the go.
We are. So dessert. So we have a few ingredients here which I would love to talk about. We have some pudding rice. Do you know what, Charlie? Do you know what the difference between? I'm going to get absolutely crucified here if we've got some Italians watching. But do you know what the difference between pudding rice, paella rice, carnaroli, violone nano, all these fantastic flat short grain rices? What's the difference?
Oh God, I have no idea. Tell me.
It's grown in different places, but predominantly from three of the same, very close genetic grains. So it's a bit like wheat as well, and rice. There's 1,500 plus varieties of rice around the world, but we only see the 6 or 7 that are commercially grown. For expense, or because they're fast to grow, or resilient to pests and disease and stuff. So yeah, pudding rice, if you've got a little bit of paella rice at home, you want to recreate this, don't worry if you can't find pudding rice.
Okay.
They just give it a stamp and put an extra 10p on. Pop the rice in a bowl, it's that simple. This is a rice pudding, Nana Stafford style. Okay, with a twist of Vietnam. This is the Rhinism. We have it in every show. So we want to get our ingredients together. We've got our pudding rice in there, Charlie.
And that's all been weighed and washed and is ready to go.
It has been weighed, yeah. So essentially all we're going to do is just slowly cook the rice, a little bit like a risotto, stirring throughout the show. We're just going to put it on a really low heat. High fat coconut milk, which we've got here, is not one to be messed with. So really low heat. It's going to come up really slow. We're just going to let it take its time, relax, go through and just cook. And we're essentially not looking for al dente or overcooked stewed rice. We just want a really nice, soft rice pudding. It's going to be delicious at the end. So coconut milk, you want to use, we've been very kind as always, and we've used a full can. Tell you what, let's do the full.
Oh, it's all going in.
It's just going to be rich. We need like 3/4 of a can, but it's still going to absorb and be delicious. Could I give you that, Charlie? So we just want to make sure that's well mixed in there. So just make sure the rice is well coated. It's really that simple. Coconut rice goes onto the stove. We want to bring it up to the boil, but remember you've got fat in there, which predominantly burns from the coconut milk. We've also got a lot of starch in there as well from the rice, which is going to make it creamy, and which we want. Bring a lot of forceful heat to that very, very fast, and it's going to burn.
Okay.
So there's a little bit of technique to be taken on board here, and a lot of thinking, but not panic. Just listen to the rules, guys. Put it on a low heat. So I'm going to start on 6, 7. When I start seeing it moving, I'm going to take it down. I've got a ratio of 1 to 10 on here. 6, 7, get it going. Control it, get it up to a little simmer, and just let it go slow.
Great.
So we're going to come back to that in a little bit, but just talk about a few of the ingredients. Just smell that. That's why people are getting that rice on, Charlie.
So this is, what is it?
Incredible. So it's black sesame. Caramel. So a little bit of coconut.
Lovely sort of savoury, sweet sort of notes. Very good. I love the colour too.
It's really strange, but I love it. It's delicious. And a lot of black sesame used in Laos, Vietnam, Thailand, and again, probably a little bit of an accent coming from the north and kind of the Chinese border. And then we've got some kaffir, vanilla, jus here, which is lime juice, lime zest, kaffir lime, and between the kind of depth and kind of richness of that coconut milk and black sesame and the lime juice, it's going to be absolutely incredible.
That's going to be really interesting.
A clash, because you may or may not have noticed, but Nana Stafford would have put a lot of sugar in there by now, a big dollop of jam at the end. So we just put coconut milk and rice. So these two bad boys are going to really
well, that's exactly how I think of rice pudding. So I'm intrigued to find out how this is going to work, the yin and the yang of the vanilla and the black sesame caramel.
And if that wasn't strange enough, a little bit of coriander on the dessert. You heard right, coriander on the dessert.
Really?
So we'll come back to that quite
okay, we'll come back to that later.
Onto the rainbow rolls.
Yes, please.
Let's do it. Let's get a nice pan going.
Yeah.
So get a nice saute frying pan. I've got a nice big one here. Just give that a little wipe out.
Are these the ingredients?
These are the ingredients, yeah. Now, again, talking, Charlie, about ingredients, we've got some rice paper rolls. We'll just set them up front.
Yeah.
And then we've got our decks department are incredible, aren't they? I mean, they really treat us well. Look at this. Just because we're in Vietnam, we've got a little Vietnamese style longboat, which is great.
Sort of drifted down the Mekong.
We have, and we've got some mushrooms in there, which we're going to saute with some cabbage and some carrots, which we're going to slice up and keep crispy.
That looks more like a parsnip than a carrot.
It does look a bit parsnippy. It's got the whole, parsnip thing going on. Purple. These are heritage Chantenay carrots.
Ah, okay.
So just coming into season, and they are delicious. Nok cham. We'll come back to that, and a nice bowl here that we're going to pop some water in. Could you just pop some water, which I've got?
Jug that side, yeah.
Sorry, Charlie, I'm new. You're going to have to help me today a little bit. I know you've done this before.
Working with these beginners, hey.
There we go. So a little bit of water in here, and this is a beautiful, beautiful bowl. If you've got a fruit bowl that's to hand, or even a tray, you could use anything at this point. We're going to come back to that in a minute, but that's going to be for our rice paper.
Okay, so just reserve that to one side.
We are, yeah. So while that pan's heating up there, just going to look at this lettuce and just break it down a little bit, because this is going to be a little bit of a protector, if you like, a bit of a guideline for the rice paper to kind of put the vegetables in. And all the vegetables get quite gnarly and little matchsticks, and they want to pierce that delicate little layer of rice. So we're just going to use this as a bit of a protector. I'm going to take any pointy bits off. And when I say pointy bits, any bits that are going to pierce the tracing paper like rice paper later. So you feel that it's a bit like lettuce.
Yep.
This is Castelfranco. Castelfranco very much could be confused with a kind of lighter iceberg lettuce. Very much not. You know, we're kind of spring, coming out of winter into springtime, and it's just a beautiful forced radicchio that again has got everything you want from a nice light lettuce, but all the flavour and body of a winter spring vegetable. So we'll just set that aside over there, get myself a little bin.
Great.
I've got a habit of making a mess.
That's okay, it's your kitchen, you can do as you wish.
So some nice little soft bits over there, soft bits of lettuce, we can use all that. We're probably going to make 5 or 6 rolls. Just kind of break these down a little bit.
Yeah. Let me have a go.
Now mushrooms and cabbage, these are the ones we're going to cook. So we're just going to saute them a little bit.
Okay.
So beautiful white cabbage, get rid of the hard bit there. And again, we just want to kind of like slice these up a little bit. So you should have a nice little wedge, just sort of kind of bite size. And again, when we're rolling that roll up, we don't want anything that's going to interfere and try and pop out of the side. So pop those in the pan over there. Don't worry, just a dry pan, get a nice bit of toastedness in there. And that'd be beautiful. Onto the mushrooms, some nice little slices.
Okay. What are these mushrooms? Are they?
Yeah, they're just kind of like big butter mushrooms, and again, we just need a nice little base. Just need a nice little base mushroom, just to add a little bit of depth. You know, people think that mushrooms don't really taste of much. They do. They add a nice earthiness.
It's interesting to see that you're cooking these.
Yeah, well, again, kind of like everything being fresh, we're going to have some raw lettuce in there. We're going to have a really kind of raw, limey fish sauce dip. We're going to have some raw carrots. So we just want to toast them up. I just think they've got a lot of water, a lot of sugar in there, and it just adds a nice little dimension of kind of toastedness in there. So the carrots as well, tops and bottoms off. Then we're just going to almost do some julienne. So I take the bottom off, I think it's a really nice skill, and then you're not kind of working with a little roly carrot trying to go everywhere.
And notice how you sort of tuck your fingers right in.
Yeah, I've only got 3 fingers left, so it hasn't been an easy ride, but no. One of the most crucial things when slicing is to actually kind of form that kind of claw-like.
Yes.
And what you do is you actually sit the knife like this, and then just go, and it's a guide. As you can see, a few little scars of war wounds from the past. But yeah, it's kind of something that the muscle memories just kind of completely took over now, and I don't really think about it, even at speed. I mean, you could show off a little bit, just go a bit faster. But
have you ever nicked a finger badly? Have you ever been rushed?
Yeah,
Yeah.
not to A&E, but even last year I was. Do you know the mandolins?
They get your nuts.
Chefs even still, they're horrible things. They produce the most beautiful kind of fine vegetables, and the guards are so small. Maybe if you're doing 2 portions, as we've talked about in the past in the events world, when we're doing 5,000 portions, it doesn't quite work, so you have to go at speed. So we're going to pop the carrots there, they're going to be raw. I've noticed as well, so I haven't put any oil in there because I just want to get these toasting up on a nice high heat.
Yeah.
You kind of smell the mushrooms cooking. We don't predominantly use in Vietnamese cooking lots and lots of oil, but we do have a dressing here with plenty of oil in, and it's beautiful as well, and I thought it'd be a nice way to kind of utilise and cross a few ingredients over. So we're just going to use a little bit of that dressing.
So what's that dressing? Where's the oil coming from?
So this is the smoked tomato and cashew dressing.
Okay, great.
So it's got a little bit of sesame in there, it's got a little bit of neutral oil.
Yeah.
That's just going to dance around in there and just get everything.
Brilliant. And we're going to be seeing that later with the papaya salad, but you want to bring that sort of oil into the rainbow rolls as well.
Yes, definitely. Just seeing if this is working. There we go.
Yeah? All good?
No, it must
do we have heat in the kitchen?
We do have heat in the kitchen.
Seem to always be having a little bit of battle with the stoves, don't you?
Yeah, we do. The thing is, like this is our kitchen, a cook's tour kitchen, but it's it's live
also,
and it's on.
Yeah, it's also live and it's set.
Live and it's on set, and there's just no room to hide. If something doesn't work in the kitchen, I say, hey, I'll come back in a minute, or someone runs over and helps me, or I help them, but nowhere to hide. So we just want to get a bit of a boring bit here with the carrots. But as we were talking, just while we're doing the little boring bit, getting some nice little strips, we're talking about the use of wheat as well, which I didn't know if you knew. It's they don't really use a lot of wheat. Rice, they fry with rice paper. In Vietnam, they roll with rice paper, and even the noodles are predominantly rice. I mean, I love an egg noodle, and a spring roll, which is like a Chinese spring roll or a Thai spring roll, and they'll predominantly use flour in there, but rice flour is incredible. It offers so much more crisp than regular wheat, and also in this case with the rice noodles, very, very kind of like delicate finish as well.
Yeah,
which is fantastic.
Well,
so
Vietnamese cuisine is incredibly healthy, isn't it? Because it is all about just sort of very, very fresh ingredients, a little bit of oil, quick cooking technique.
Yeah, it is. So I will just turn this down now, because as I said, when it comes up, your coconut rice, we just want to give that a little stir, make sure it's not sticking on the bottom.
Which yours isn't?
Yeah, it is a little bit, but that's fine. The thing is, it's just you want to get it moving around, make sure it's on a very, very low heat now, and all we're trying to do is just get that rice to just absorb the coconut. Okay. And like I said, this is a crucial point to make sure nothing's stuck to the bottom, so I'm just going to make a lot of noise on camera. I've mentioned in past shows, Charlie, a lot of people say, oh, you could just hear the way like the tempura was crackling. Well, this metal spoon on the bottom is probably no enjoyment for you guys at home, but very, very important that we detach. Why don't you just enjoy the beautiful floral tropical overhang of the Vietnamese jungle that I've got here. It's a lovely set today, I must say. So, there we go.
So once we've released all that, and
nice and
turn the heat down a bit.
Turn that heat down to the lowest setting now, and we really just want to let that rice just do its job and really slowly just absorb. So, last carrot, I've saved the purple one. Do you know what? I just think there's enough there. I mean, we've portioned these by hand. Yeah. So if you've got a spare carrot, get involved, put it with the other carrots, maybe roast dinner at the weekend. But I've saved the purple one till last because it might stain all the other vegetables and we don't want to do that. Just stay in my hands as well.
And get chopping. I had some of the most memorable summer rolls in Hoi An, which is sort of in that central region of Vietnam. And what's so incredible is that, like so many other sort of Southeast Asian countries, you have incredible street food and vendors who just specialize in one dish. And you think that they've been creating this dish for so many years that they are absolutely sort of just the experts, the top of the game. It can't be any more authentic. And you just stumble across these vendors, and they can be anywhere, hidden around some corner here or there, everywhere.
Okay.
And you just have this wonderful experience of the rice papers coming to the table, and then you get the chance to build your own rolls as well. So much like you're doing now, you get the chance to actually start putting in all the ingredients and the lettuce and the vegetables and roll them up, and then dip away. So it's a great place.
It's interesting you say that. You mentioned summer rolls as well, and spring rolls. Spring rolls are predominantly a Chinese term. Put in it as well, and then you get summer rolls. These are rainbow rolls purely because of the colour, not to be confused with the Japanese sushi rainbow rolls, which again are also called rainbow just because of the colour they offer. Yeah. Multicolored, so quite simple. I did throw my time off a little bit here, but
are you back on track, Chef?
Yeah, luckily after about 16 times I've got my mushrooms cooking, and the smell of that's amazing. That's going to take a couple of minutes, so maybe we should just talk a little bit about the rice paper.
Yeah, let's do that.
So rice paper as well, just while that's cooking, just want to show you I'm actually going to make a purposeful mistake, so let's just show you guys at home.
You're going to show us how things can go wrong.
Yeah, so pop that in there, like so. So you've got to do these one by one and then repeat. So submerge the rice paper in there, it's almost invisible, and you'll see as the rice starts to absorb, you start getting a little bit of cloudy kind of like texture coming through. And we want to leave this in here for about 30 seconds. You can see now it's picking up a little bit of water. Now you see chefs with these of all different thicknesses. I had a chef in my kitchen not long ago that he was putting the wrong things in it, so he was using 2 or 3, which kind of takes away the whole point of being such a delicate little mouthful. So do learn the skill, and if you like I did for the first few times, and maybe I'll do today just for your enjoyment at home, if yours, Charlie, we'll have a go. If they break, don't I can't do this. Like, you just got to have delicate fingers with it. In cooking, there's many kind of actions you can take to bring a perfect dish in. And some, there's a little bit of intricacy. Is that it? It's a big word. And delicate fingers that are needed. It's like rolling pasta. There's an artisanal kind of approach to it, and a method behind the madness. And with these really delicate fingers, and again thinking about what you're putting in, you put a big king prawn in there, it just bursts through the sides. A little bit of thought beforehand. Now we don't actually want to cook these. We just wanted to toast them. And again, just take a little bit of water out of those mushrooms for a minute. No need to season. This nok cham dip here that we've got is so nok cham. Familiar with the word? You guys are?
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
Are you?
Well, it's fish sauce and chili and.
It is.
Is there rice vinegar in there too?
Yeah. So rice vinegar, predominantly a little bit of garlic, chili, lime, fish sauce, and sugar. So palm sugar, so to speak. If you just smell that, that's really good. We've had a few Vietnameses together, haven't we, Charlie?
We have indeed.
There's a lovely place near where we work together, and we popped out for lunch a few times.
Yes, we have a few sort of band there, don't we? And fish sauce is like that's an integral sort of ingredient in Vietnam, isn't it?
It is. So let me get a bowl here and let's start putting these together because they're ready. That's all we're looking for.
Okay.
So run out of space a little bit. Let's put those mushrooms in there.
Okay.
It's really simple. Pop those on there, turn the heat off. And then our rice pudding, make sure that's back on a little bit.
On low heat.
Yeah, and then we just want to get some of these carrots in here. Nice little sprinkle.
Yeah.
We're actually going to use a little bit of this dressing just to kind of season the inside as well. So you don't need a lot of this dressing, especially for the end bit. We just want to kind of toss these around. I feel like I could do a whole new kitchen today of just loads of space, and just take the carrot out of there. So kind of dress that, Charlie, have a little after that. That's alive, isn't it?
That's lovely, isn't
it? And the
it?
lime juice comes out, and the chili and the fish sauce. Okay, so let's pop this over here. Let's go with our first one.
So you're happy with that rice paper? That's how you want it?
That's exactly what you're looking for, yeah.
Good.
I mean, you need about 30 seconds, that's at a minute, so it will get to a point where it absorbs too much and becomes a little bit too hard to use. Now, there's a couple of techniques to go through with this. Depending on what kind of roll you're after, I'm going to teach you the simplest way, because you can't build down here and then roll on. So we've been very kind, and we've given some herbs today. So I'm actually just going to go a few herbs broken over. And again, nothing that's too intrusive.
What's that? A bit of dill, a bit of mint.
A little bit of dill, and again, it's going to have freshness to the bite, and that's what Vietnamese cooking's all about. So no sharp bits, no stalk in there. It's a little bit of holy basil there. So holy basil again. Just have a little go on that, Charlie. Guys, again, as always, at home, get trying some of these ingredients. You know, there's some magnificent ingredients here. Holy basil is about 3 times the price of normal basil.
Is that right?
It's got almost like a real perfumey kind of anisey edge to it. I just find absolutely, hypnotising. It's beautiful. And then again, any stalky bits that are going to cause us any trouble. So I'm going to go in the centre there.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to go a little bit of filling. And I'm going to go real simple with this.
Lovely.
Really,
little flecks of chilli in there.
Yeah, really, really simple. And then I'm going to teach you a really, really easy way, which is going to be over and over. So make sure none of that protrudes. And then just cause a bit of...
Tuck in the sides first.
Yeah, and then kind of pull it towards you a little bit. And then as you roll over, and just keep it real simple. And that kind of...
You're looking for quite a tight...
Yeah, and what you're kind of doing is, as you're kind of rolling it, you're kind of pulling it a little bit towards you, using the grip of the actual rice paper sat on the board. And you know, we're not going for a Michelin-star Vietnamese restaurant here. We're going for authenticity.
Yes.
We're going for kind of like learning for the first time, different shapes, different sizes. We're going for the big bite and the big flavour. So yeah,
That's lovely?
Yeah, and it's really, really simple. Those herbs are shining like a little bit of a kind of glass window, doing everything beautiful. Would you like
I'd
to try
love
one?
to have a go. Come
Would
on.
you?
Let me get a rice paper.
Might just gobble this down then while you're just...
You could, couldn't you?
So let's...
In terms of presentation, would you sort of slice it, stack it? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, slice it as well as if you've got, I mean, you can feel the body in there, just have a little feel of that. The body's quite important, and I feel that the Castelfranco, or you could use iceberg. Gem's going to be a little bit robust, but like I said, these white bits here are the base of the gem. Take that out, because anything that's going to be a bit... That's fine as well, about 20 seconds.
Okay, I'm sort of counting away.
Well, do you want to just, if you can just move that one out of the way, and we could probably pop the bowl there.
Yeah.
And then we don't have to keep moving this.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can pop that there, that would be amazing.
How much should we do? Should we do 2?
I think we just do 2, for now. And you guys at home, you can just get carried away. There might be 2 of you, 3 of you.
Yeah, if you want to make more, just hit the space button and carry on.
Exactly. I'm just going to check my rice pudding as well.
Just make sure that rice pudding ain't
rice
sticking.
pudding is looking absolutely delicious.
You happy there?
Yeah, I am. Now, rice pudding, like a risotto, I've been to some very, very incredible places, as we've discovered in conversation on a cook's tour.
Yeah.
I've been to some very nice hotels around the world, very, very fortunate to. But I've had some risottos and rice puddings that are awful. Let's have a little feel of that. You probably do another 10 seconds.
Another 10 seconds.
You just want it to become pliable and be able to bend without cracking while you're building it up.
I think Ryan's 30 seconds is more like a minute, everyone at home, okay?
Exactly. At least we're learning. But these hotels around the world, you get a risotto and it comes and it's in a tin bale, so it's kind of like that shape.
Yeah.
It's stuck on, and you just got to stay away from it. I think it's claggy and it's awful and it's hard to eat, and you need a bit of milk to wash it down. I'm telling you that story because I feel that risotto should be unctuous, they should be velvety, they should be silky, and the rice and the liquid should be as one. So once we achieve the cooking in this rice pudding, which I'm not far off, what did you say it's had, about 20 minutes?
Yep.
Yep, so once we've achieved that kind of cooking, if the coconut's getting a bit thick, just add a little bit of water, and what we're trying to maintain is a rice pudding that's decadent, and it's the rice and the liquid part are kind of flowing as one, so that it gives you a luxurious feel. I suppose it's a little bit like why we put kind of a jus or a gravy on our roast dinner, you know, it's a load of vegetables and meat, and you put this incredible sauce on it, and it just takes it to a new level, and that's kind of the consistency, what we want from the sauce in the rice pudding.
Here I am, look, I'm cracking
I'm going to eagle eye you all the way through.
I know, I can feel the burn.
I get this lovely kind of intro that I'm the master. I'm really going to put that.
Yeah, I'm really going for it now. Hey, I was just asking you a moment ago about fish sauce.
Yeah.
It's a really big part of Vietnamese history.
It is.
And what is fish sauce?
It's
Tell us a little
salt
bit about
predominantly.
it.
So you get these bottles which are really, really strange from Asian supermarkets, Vietnamese supermarkets, Chinese supermarkets, and they usually have a squid on the front.
Yeah.
They don't contain any squid.
I know the ones.
They don't contain any squid.
Yeah.
It's just fish, and it's fermented fish.
Is it?
So white fish predominantly, and they're literally salt out of the ocean. They're kind of a little bit of salt, and then they're left in the sun to dry, and then they're fermented in a similar way to fish, to soy sauce.
Because it's in everything, isn't it? In fact, I think in Hanoi there's a street which is called Fish Sauce Street, and you go there.
Is there?
Yeah.
Fish sauce. Where are you off to tonight? I'm going to have a beer down on fish sauce.
That's right.
Imagine.
That's where you go to get it. Okay, so I'm going to tuck this in. Is that okay?
Yeah, so go
Tuck
side,
it in sides first.
side to side.
Side to side.
This isn't the beginner's way, this is the guaranteed way.
This is the guaranteed way.
Yeah,
okay.
and then over, and then you're going to roll it. And that first roll, imagine you tuck in a little swaddle on your child that you love so much.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
You know, a little kind of
This is taking me
roll.
right back.
Or back in, I don't know if you went to catering college, Charlie, or anything like that, but a bit of
Probably tell that I
origami.
didn't.
Bit of origami, folding the napkins. Do you know what?
Hey, that's okay.
Definitely
That's
want to
okay.
be really honest with you, and that's pretty good. That's as good as. So let's pop those down there,
Yeah.
and let's finish with that beautiful nok cham, which just
Beautiful.
sits there, and you can see the sugar content just kind of keeping it
Yeah.
nice kind of thickness in that dip. It's beautiful, and that's it really. We'll garnish that with some herbs at the end. You guys, if you've got 4 or 5 on the go, that's fine. We're not going to do that, so we'll pop that aside.
Put that to one side, and then we're going to move on to the papaya salad.
The papaya salad. So that pan, guys, that pan that we had on before, we just want to leave that pan.
Get it back on the heat.
Get it back on the heat. It should be clean. There should be a little bit of oil in it. That's perfectly fine. So for this next dish, like I just talked about, pan on the stove, nice and hot. And this time, like I'm doing, let's make sure that it's definitely
To make
on.
sure you're turning on the right one.
Yep. So really hot pan for this. You know, I like a little bit of smoke.
Yeah.
And we are trying to toast these beans. So we've got some spring shoots, which they're called. I call them. You've got some nice fine beans.
Yeah.
And we've got some bean shoots here. So we've got toasted, slightly bitter, what we're going to do in the pan. And then we've got kind of water content. See where we're going with this? And the dressing kind of brings in the kind of sweet and sour element. And then you've got more sugar coming here from the papaya.
Very beautiful looking papaya. Look at those.
It is, and do you know what? Everywhere I've been, from Southern Pacific to kind of Malaysia, Thailand, and a little bit more north, you see these everywhere.
Yeah.
You see them on the side of the road just growing. Everyone's back garden, they need one. So we're just going to get straight in with these fine beans.
So beans first.
Yeah.
What are you looking to do? You're gonna...
So we just want to take the ends off, really.
Okay.
I get a little bit frustrated with beans. Imagine going through every single one would be here talking about it until tomorrow. So I just like to take the neck off them all. You might get a little stray one down here, trying to be tough. Sort him out as well. And then that's it. Straight into that hot pan.
And again, no fat. It's just going for the toast.
Yeah, no, we're going to go for a toast. And again, try and break up the set as we're going. Just a little bit of that dressing. It's the same dressing. A little bit of the oil.
Ah, I can hear it going.
Sizzle.
There it is.
Bang, bang, there we go. So just while that's going as well, don't really need to do much with that. We just need to let that toast. We're looking for a little bit of bite in there, which is going to be absolutely delicious. Now the papaya, this is quite a generous looking papaya.
Oh, it's so beautiful.
As it's called in parts of Asia. As it's called in part of Asia, we have got pawpaw.
Pawpaw.
Pawpaw. P-A-W, I think it's spelled. Or papaya, as we know it over here, and it's beautiful. Yeah. You see this in a lot of, you know, I'm in touch with myself, the haircut and everything. I'm from Manchester. It's
you don't say.
All about the moisturiser and stuff. And you see this in a lot of beauty products, and rightly so, because it's got lots of vitamins in it. They're great for collagen reproduction. It's great for digestion, and it's beautiful. And I literally call it, like I do with avocado, fruit butter, because once you put a little bit of a whisk to it, it just moves into the most beautiful, creamy, butter-like texture. But a lot of people will eat it and be like, it tastes a little bit flat. You put a little bit of lime on this. We've got a bit of lime in that dressing, and it's absolutely stunning, Charlie. You guys at home, I hope every single hand-picked avocado, pawpaw, papaya that you've got is as good as this.
I sort of feel of all the dishes, I mean, you know how food can really take you somewhere. I sort of feel that this dish in particular is going to take me right back to Vietnam, because papaya, as you say, when you start talking about putting lime on it, I can conjure up that sort of taste.
Yeah, and acidity, got sweet kind of a little bit of a flat natural flavour in this.
So you've scooped out all the seeds, discarded those, and then...
I'm just going to glide the knife.
Sorted it, and you're gliding that knife like a pro.
Gliding that knife.
Keeping your fingers, your fingers well clear.
Yeah, and then just
nice
bend a little bit out there. So this is a bit of a skill one.
Yes.
Now you'll leave a little bit of meat in there doing that, but as well, you would have broken the fruit beforehand. So we can just use all of this, a bit like a melon, I suppose. Have we got a lovely plate for this?
Yeah, we're going to go for this.
That'd be amazing.
Go for this.
So let's kind of just.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah, the colour's quite beautiful. Pawpaw doesn't really give you all that beauty straight away. You really do have to crack it open like a coconut and see the pure beauty and the contrast of colours. So if you're finding it a little bit hard as well, guys, just scoop this out with a spoon. Hanoi.
I suppose you could do that, couldn't you?
Yeah, and any excess seeds here, like what I've just left in, just use a spoon. It's quite safe. And then just kind of slice it up into nice little chunks.
How are your beans, chef?
They're whistling away, like they're ready to go on the salad.
Isn't it?
It is, they whistle, it's just the oxygen escaping out of them.
Yeah. I've heard of squeaky beans, I've never heard of whistling beans.
Squeaky beans. Yeah, these are definitely squeaky beans. They're good now. I'm just going to take them off the stove.
Great.
And let them sit there like so. Guys, as well, I've just taken my rice pudding off. It feels like it's good to go.
Okay.
And you can just leave it in the pan, as long as it hasn't set fire yet. So let's just hammer through this one.
Yeah, so more de-seeding. Yeah, and also papaya, I mean, gosh, eat it a lot for breakfast, don't we, when we're sort of in Southeast Asia, Vietnam.
I absolutely love it. I think it's phenomenal.
Great way to start the day.
Look how ripe that is there as well. It's almost like jelly-like. Okay, so...
And whilst you're doing that, we've got bean sprouts, and then there's the smoked tomato and cashew dressing.
So the smoked tomatoes have got nothing to do with Vietnam. When I was just bringing this kind of together, I felt that it was just absolutely delicious, Charlie. A delicious way to build up a salad. Toasted beans. The toasted beans, the fish sauce that's in there, the roasted nuts. We've got a little bit of chopped coriander and smoked tomatoes. I'm a really big fan of smoking lots of vegetables. I think smoke is a great kind of great kind of flavour component. Yeah. And I was playing around with the flavour, and it was missing a little bit of a backbone. I obviously didn't want to go to dairy like we've spoken about a few times, and looking for those obvious hits like miso and stuff which don't exist. So tomatoes, there are lots of fresh tomatoes in Thailand, Laos, in these kind of salads. So I just thought, why don't I do it with a little bit of a cook's tour kind of spin,
bit of a spin.
So the other side of this.
This one's going to do differently. I like
it.
This.
I'm going to show you guys what I was talking about at home. So as well, do it over the salad. We just want to build a little bit of height there. If it is a little bit jelly-like at the bottom, jelly-like's not the right word really. It's just a little bit overripe. It's still delicious to eat, and will be the sweetest part. Just a nice bit of.
Those colours are great.
They are. So,
and going back to the dressing again, it's that balance, isn't it? It's about creating that sort of the spice and the sourness, the bitterness, the saltiness, the sweetness. You've got to sort of have all that working together, haven't you, in harmony? Yeah,
and it's a really nice. Once you hit that and you get it all right, so pop some more beans on there with the acidity and the sugar, and you can just add something quite smoky. Yeah. It's very special.
Great.
So, guys, there we go. So this is kind of like the end of it. We're just going to drizzle. No, and I've used some of that oil. We'll put it in there so we don't have to, sustainable is key. And we don't want to give you a few more plastic biodegradable pots than what we need to. So we've just kind of used the jar for a few different things. That's what being a chef's all about, just using what you've got to the...
I have to say, Ryan, that looks absolutely knockout. And that, I can't wait to try the Pinot Gris alongside that delicious looking papaya salad.
There you go.
Amazing. Gosh, okay, so it's pho time.
It is pho time.
Yeah?
So, absolutely.
So the noodles,
stunning,
which you have had in the hot water, are probably where they need to be.
Yeah.
And I reckon you're going to be looking for a bit of that.
Yeah, so let's bring all of these lovely ingredients back. So as you can see, Charlie, for you guys at home, those noodles, really pliable now, absorbed a lot of liquid. And like we said, just putting boiling water over them is quite key. If you boil these, they're just going to break up and go to nothing. So you put hot water on, they absorb as the temperature cools, release any bit of starch that will be in there, and just give you a beautiful glass noodle.
Great.
Yeah, so you might see these translucent in some summer rolls, as we did earlier, and they just soak them in cold water, so they have more bite. We don't need that because we've got salad in there. So first things first, let's get the broth.
You know how excited I am about sort of broths. Come on, what have you been doing at the Rocket Kitchen here?
So, thing is about broths, we should be, do you know what, I've got wet hands, would you be?
Yeah, of course, come on.
Oh no. Endorse our beautiful packaging.
These things are a nightmare to undo. Can I borrow a knife?
You can. There you go. You go ahead with that. So basically we're talking about the pho. One of the most important things about pho is the ingredients that you use in it. Really simple. You could go to your butcher and say, can I have some corn-fed chicken bones? Can I have some beautiful beef bones? Take them back. Make sure there's little fat on them, because that's not what we're looking for, and we just want to roast them until you get lots and lots of colour. The reason we want colour is because of the colour of the broth. Look at it. That is the crispy bacon, the chicken skin, whatever caramelisation you get on meat, you want to endorse the broth with that beautiful flavour. Charlie, are you okay?
I'm sorry.
Are you okay there?
You had some scissors on set, and where have you put them?
I have got some scissors.
Are they in your magic box of tricks? Because seriously, I mean, I am struggling over here.
I feel like you're helping me all the time. There you go, mister. I feel like I've just been your savior.
Wow.
So
there we go, job done. We could have just started there.
So guys, pouch open, one of the first things to do, as I've just learned, I'm going to pop that in the hot pan.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a little bit hot, but I just took it off the stove just to cool down. So we're not trying to reduce that broth in any way, shape or form. It's that beautiful broth on there. We just want to heat the broth up. So as I was saying about the broth,
yes.
Roast those bones. Chicken, beef, I like with this. You could use some pork bones, you could use some white fish bones, get rid of the head, the tail, any fatty bits. Roast it, more colour, more flavour. Don't go too far because you get a bitterness that we don't want in there. And then you want to pop it in a pan, cover it with water and just boil it. The longer you boil it, the more collagens come out of the bones, which is all the good things that our bodies need.
Is there anything you should do whilst boiling it? I've seen, the chefs in the kitchen at Rocket sort of skimming. Do you have to skim off?
Yeah,
sort of any of the
definitely.
impurities?
If you boil a stock hard, it will become cloudy. So if you're going for a very refined, I'm getting a little bowl while I'm talking now. If you're going for a very refined consommé or something, which we're not here.
Yeah.
I mean, you're sat in Vietnam. You're in the middle of the jungle in the mountains, having the most amazing broth cooked for you. Or if you were indigenous to the country, you're not. I don't think you're looking for refinement. I think you're looking for flavour and you're looking for depth. So you just want to boil it, skim it, because excess fat isn't something, dairy and fat in Vietnamese cooking isn't something that they need or pioneer. Okay. But you just want to boil it a couple of hours, so there's a nice rich flavour in there. Remember, it's not seasoned at that point. And then just endorse the broth with lots of things like the Vietnamese flavour. So you want some galangal in there, maybe some lemongrass, but garlic predominantly, star anise, cinnamon bark, whatever, and lots of herbs, lots of lime and garlic and some chopped onions. And just let it boil for another half an hour or so. Taste it, fish sauce and lime to finish, and we are laughing.
We're good to go. I'm itching to put my gloves on.
Yeah, put your gloves on, guys. We do wear gloves. We do wear gloves at the Rocket Kitchen here on the Cook's Tour.
Well, because we're on set.
Because we're on set, exactly. So if you would be an absolute dream, Charlie, if you'd be an absolute dream,
show me.
Just give me some little pinches. I think all the chefs at home now, we're very, very well trained with rolling balls and koftas and stuff on the past destinations. So we just need little pinches. You can have some shredded chicken in there. If you've got some leftover chicken bones from the Sunday roast, get it into a broth, and then shred all the chicken off it. And get eaten. And this is a great kind of reason to get a nutritious meal out of a secondary meal, as I like to call it.
Are these pinches as you planned?
They're absolutely perfect. And
all sort of different, little bit different shaped and sizes, but I suppose all similar size, so they cook at the same sort of time.
Yeah, exactly.
And now, hold on. We need to talk a little bit about this beef, because it's not ordinary mince, is it?
It's absolutely stunning, Charlie. So Earl of Stoneham is a beautiful producer of English Wagyu. Yeah. And I'm a really, really big fan of what they do there. All these myths about Wagyu, the playing of the music, the massaging, the beer. I mean, marketing strategy was pretty simple with that, wasn't it? Let's tell a load of lies. And it's nothing really to do with why all the fat's there. The Wagyu breed of cattle is actually as amazing as it is, because you could feed it a high fat diet. It's actually the only genetic, like a cow with the genetic ability to have intramuscular, you losing my words here. There's a lot of information, but it generates fat and stores fat inside its muscle. Okay. As opposed to, as you can see, from the fine Wagyu that I eat on a daily basis, on the outside, as many other cattle and beef breeds do. I see. So while you're doing that as well, just quickly, because people are probably thinking, what's he doing with the egg? He hasn't said anything. Just peeling the egg. Just peeling the egg. And that egg's going to be a garnish for the pho. So if it's pre-cooked, isn't it? It is pre-cooked. Oh, yeah. Got a nice little perfect cooked egg here, which I'm hoping is nice and gel set, which we've done at the Cook's Tour kitchen. And we were talking about this mince before coming on set, and we were saying how this is sort of the Wagyu beef, so you just want to have it as sort of simple and as natural as possible for the flavour. Being a chef, Charlie, when I was talking about the development of this, I do remember, and today talking about why wouldn't we put something in it like we did with the venison meatballs? Yeah, exactly. And with kofta and stuff like that, and with the chicken in Bali. Well, the reason is because it's an incredible premium product, and we want to taste that incredible product as it is. Not that chicken or lamb isn't incredible, but we just wanted the broth to do all the singing and dancing and play true testament to the dish that we're trying, which is a rich broth garnished with some incredible proteins, egg and beef. And we just thought we'd take the ante up a little bit on that. Yeah, brilliant. But if you were recreating this at home, and if you couldn't lay your hands on Wagyu mince beef, you could, with sort of regular lean
beef, add a sort of a spice mix or something to it if you felt the urge?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, of course you could, yeah.
Yeah.
So as you can see, we've got a beautiful gel set.
Oh, well done. That looks great.
Yeah, so you might have heard me say gel set. You know, if you're
Yeah.
making sandwiches, you just put the egg in the water and you come back 6 days later with no care at all. But for me, it's really, really important with this that you have a nice kind of egg that's just gel set. It's going to be really nice. Once you overcook the egg, it goes creamy. And you don't want creamy, you want a fresh kind of egg to kind of sit along the rest of the ingredients. So with this, we've got one more dish after this, Charlie. So we've got the pho there. If
Yep.
you would just very kindly like to just pop those into the pho.
Oh,
I'm just
okay.
going to let them poach.
For some reason, I thought these were going to go in a frying pan, but you're actually going to poach them in the.
Yeah,
okay,
we're just going to let them poach in here.
I love that.
But I think it's going to be nice and delicate. It's going to be beautiful. And just let them poach in there. Really, really simple.
Okay.
Little nuggies of Wagyu. And they're going to release, as you can see already, a little bit of oil. Now, I talked about not really using oil as such. They use, in Vietnam, as minimal oil as possible.
Yeah.
And dairy, it's not a no-no. They just don't really need it. They get roasted nuts to recreate those kind of rich flavours and beef and broths and stuff like that.
That looks so good.
I'm going to pop that on the heat there, on a nice low heat, and let that poach, and we'll move on to our next dish.
And how long are you going to poach it for? Sort of
Yeah,
5-10 minutes?
yeah. I mean, it's minced beef, so you know, really we want to cook it through, just
Yeah.
for kind of like safety reasons, and just make sure it's fully cooked through. So I think they're going to poach on a low heat for 4 or 5 minutes.
Okay.
We're just going to sit them there probably
We'll
a
keep
little
an
bit
eye on
longer than that.
Yeah.
Just until we need them. So I'll put that on number 4. I'll turn my pan on this time, and now we're on to the amazing squid. So
Yes.
just before we kind of jump all over the place, we've got our egg for our pho, which we will pop. Have we got our pho bowl? Could we just bring those two over? We
Yeah.
could probably move that now, Charlie, if we don't
Yeah,
need
of course.
that. So what we can do is,
Oh,
that was live, and that's good. I like that.
whoops. Sorry, Dex department.
Sorry, Dex
studio
department.
people.
But that's the beauty, you know, in
Yeah.
kitchens, you know, a few chefs on fall
Yeah.
over every now and then.
Luckily, it's all over my script, but I never use that anyway.
The show
so-
must go on. So just before we leave this dish completely, Charlie, do you want to build one of these with me?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I've got 2 beautiful Vietnamese bowls here. I'm going to take half the noodles.
Yeah.
I'm just going to kind of like twist them. Just twist them to help them kind of stay on one side of the bowl.
Ooh, fun.
Yeah. I mean,
I can feel the
Yeah.
texture of the noodles. They're sort of a little bit sort of al dente still, aren't they? It's tiny.
they feel al dente.
They feel it.
But these are definitely
They're
cooked.
cooked.
And the cloudiness.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt that for a second, Ryan.
Charlie, I know we just brushed that aside, but that was legendary. I just love that. Charlie never makes mistakes, guys. And
Never.
that was for me and you at home. He is pretty perfect looking, but he just dropped some water.
Oh,
and that's,
stop it.
I know. So,
Let's get rid of that.
back we go. Rice, right, it was good. Right, rice noodles in, and we pop a little egg in there.
Yep.
And then we're going to get some of these herbs over here. So herbs, really important. So we've got a little bit of tarragon there, which you want to be quite gentle with. You just want to follow suit. And don't pick it, like the stalks, you literally see in Vietnam, they will take their time with the broth, slurpy, just the noodles as they go. But they'll pick the herbs. Like for me, that's a little bit of faff, but we want to.
Okay, so you actually want to leave. Sorry,
Yeah.
some of that.
So a little bit of tarragon. We just want to layer a few leaves around the bowl like this, and look how
Lovely.
beautiful. And this is really, you see these beautiful. Not talking about Instagram here or like cooking books, but you know, on amazing cooking shows when you've got Rick Steins and
Yes.
Anthony Bourdain, and they're going around, and you see these bowls, and literally they have some chopsticks, and they're picking the herb, getting a little bit of meat, and it's almost like what would you call that? There's a method to the way of eating it. I love that.
There we go. Well, it's rather lovely because you can sort of, you know, each mouthful becomes different, doesn't it?
Definitely.
Season as you go.
Definitely. So,
Aromats.
do you want some? You got some mint there?
Dill, I've done some mint. Kind of there's a
Chervil.
mint.
So you've got chervil, mint, again, all fresh. Got holy basil in there. You've got the mint offering kind of a really nice perfume. The dill with a little bit of depth.
Yeah.
And again, the chervil with a little bit of anise in there, just kind of like settling all that freshness. Beautiful.
Great. So those are ready. So all they need is the broth to be poured over
so
at
they're
the
gonna
end.
have, they're going to have the broth with
And
the
garnish.
meat, and then we're going to pop layer those herbs up, guys. You've got plenty. Layer them up as much as possible. We've got a little nut crumb just to finish
Yeah.
over the end.
Great.
So onto the squid. Let's get
Onto the squid.
Squid ingredients.
Okay. Do I have those?
You do. They're just to your left over there.
Aha, I do indeed.
Charlie, you're not still thinking about the water incident, are you? Let it go.
Yeah, I got to let it go. Move on.
Yeah, I've learned to use pans today. And yeah, you've learned to carry water around. Okay, cool. So scissors, do you have those?
Yes.
So if you would like to open the squid
okay.
for me, I'm going to prepare on this side of the board. I'm going to pop some gloves on for this. The reason is because we don't want raw and cooked squid. We're going to slice this after it's cooked. So I'm going to prepare on this side of the board all the vegetables, so I don't need it out yet. If you just pop it aside,
Okay.
that'd be amazing.
Let's put that there. Oh, it's delicious. It smells good. So you've
what?
got some chilies, you want the carrot,
Yeah.
and then your vinaigrette. Anything else?
No, that's it.
Great. Okay.
So my big knife is over here. So guys, saute pan on.
Put
Rice
back on.
Rice is good. So we've got this beautiful, beautiful garnish here. I wonder if we've got a spare bowl. Can we use that bowl over there? We can dress in there.
Yeah.
So we don't need to put raw squid in there, that's cool. So carrot goes in here. So what we're going to do is predominantly with the squid, we're going to score the squid. We're going to put it in the pan and cook it. Then when it comes out, we're going to dress it a little bit like we did with the noodle salad, with some of the aromats. So the heat of the protein in the squid and kind of it's just charred up, we're going to just pop it in there, and it's going to open up the chili and the vinaigrette, and it's going to have a beautiful perfume. So there's a little bit of a method why we do it like this as well.
Yeah. Today is
We only need half a carrot.
yeah, it's sort of a masterclass in carrot cutting this evening, isn't it?
It is. Now, do you know what? Carrot doesn't offer a sweetness. It's a household ingredient, as it is over here, because it's cheap and it's
Yes.
easy to grow, and it's easy to grow in farmland that's good or bad. So it grows in wetland as well. You get sandy carrots in Normandy over here. It really does grow around the world, so it's versatile. I think that's why you see it, but also it offers an incredible texture, which Vietnamese cooking's all all about. Sorry.
So we're doing sort of matchsticking.
Yeah, matchsticks again, just a nice kind of thin kind of style. So these are going to be quite raw as well. So we've got that soft squid in there, and we're going to have some chili and some dressing. So these really do offer quite a lot.
Bit of crunch, bit of sort of layers of texture, isn't it?
Otherwise, you're just going to have soft squid, you know, crispy squid. Every time I go to a restaurant, my wife says, "Oh, are you going to order this crispy squid?" Again, yeah, of course I am, because it's delicious and I love it, and it's the crispiness that I love. So this isn't going to be crispy, but we're going to get that crisp and that crunch from the carrot. That's great. So we'll pop that in there.
Yep.
We're going to pop that in there also.
Dressing all going in.
Dressing, all of it in there. Have a little smell of that.
Love to.
All these perfumes tonight, guys.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah, and they've all got fish sauce, lime in there, but a different kind of zest and finish that we put to the sauces is amazing. Not just Vietnamese cooking, but you see this in those neighbouring countries that we talked about as well.
Yeah.
So chilies, guys, are they hot? Yeah, of course they're hot, because they're chilies. Just want to slice them up. I like a bit of heat, and throughout the menu there's not much heat up until now. So we're going big, Charlie. We are going big. So
Take it all the way.
let's get some chili in there. And also, just while we're doing it, the reason we haven't put too many chilies in things, we want you guys at home to be the measure of that as well. I like to dance a few in there. Just
Good
like
idea.
that. And then a green chili as well, which is a little bit more pokey. So these are just standard long chilies. They offer meat, yield, flavour, heat, and they're also very versatile. So just pop
So a few greens on there as well.
Yeah, but again, just try. And the way to kind of test them is you get your beautiful, beautiful assistant.
Please don't make me try chili.
To just get the end like that. Come on, I'm always fair.
I never know if. Yeah. Okay. Go on.
And I call this a shoulder, because it's kind of the top and it's a bit ridged. This is the hottest part of the chili. So just
Oh, I was about to bite the whole thing off.
straight on the tongue, count to 5. After 3 seconds, pretty big. 4 seconds, pretty hot. And it's coming and coming.
Yes.
So that's a good way. You can chop that off first and just measure that.
It's a good way to sort of assess your.
If I ask one of our suppliers to get me some chilies not too hot, they're not tasting the chilies, so you need to be in control of that. It can make or break, a meal. So be in the control of it, and if you like heat, fine, just throw it in and don't try them.
And after 20 seconds, you'll be reaching for the water.
So nice hot pan. And then there's our garnish for the squid, which is done. We'll get all this out of the way. Let's get the squid out on the right side of the board, so people aren't like, just put the squid on there.
Cross-contamination.
Yeah, so beautiful squid. So this is Pacific squid. It's beautiful and it's large. And squid, do you know squid's quite sustainable? It's very sustainable. Don't get rid of the oil, guys. So we've got the oil in here, which we're going to use. The squid's been sat in. So we're just going to open up the squid.
So,
like so.
So gentle slice down the middle, but not going all the way through.
Yeah, so I just let the heat, the weight of the knife, and then use my finger to just kind of open it up. Now squid, do you know what? When I put this on, goi mok, as it's called, is a dish that's seen, especially around coastal areas of Vietnam. Now, I just had to do it because it's absolutely stunning squid and I love it, but it's also really sustainable.
So what are you doing here? You're crossing.
Yeah. So
on the diagonal.
Let's move that. We won't touch that again because it's got raw squid on there. But it's like a minefield, isn't it?
Yeah.
So safety first. So we just want to use those kind of knuckles again.
Yeah.
And just the weight of the knife.
Drag the knife.
And the reason is it's almost like collagen, the texture. So when it hits that pan, it's just going to curl up. We want it to curl up, but it adds a nice look to it as well. And sometimes squid doesn't want to curl up, so just put in these little crisscross, turn it, we say 90 degrees, and then again crisscross again. And you can see the crisscrosses, and sometimes you can't. Just make sure you run your fingers over, like a bit of braille, and you can just kind of like feel different kind of raised areas. Yeah. So as you can see there. Absolutely perfect.
Great.
And then we're going to split that in half and get rid of that knife. And then straight into the pan with a little bit of that oil. So a little bit of the oil goes in, really hot pan. Actually, let's oil this because it might be really hot. And these guys, where we have this lovely studio, they're never really ready for me, are they? They're like, what's he going to do? What's he going to burn? I don't know. Are you ready, Charlie?
I'm ready.
So into the pan, score side down. Nice and hot.
Yes.
And we're just going to leave that. And as you can see on the camera, I'm going to take these gloves off now. You can see it's curling, and in a minute, it's just going to curl up a lot. So I'm going to turn that heat up. So that lovely broth taken away there, as you might be able to see in the background. And we just really want this.
What are you looking for?
Well, there's kind of like a rule that I was taught, and they say 40 seconds or 40 minutes. With squid. Yeah, and
okay.
you know, don't take that too literal. I think that what people mean is that there's no kind of like, is it cooked yet? Is it cooked yet? Looking for something. Basically, it cooks like a prawn, incredibly fast. It's just protein. There's no fat. There's no kind of like sinews on there or deep muscle. It's literally like the material that it is.
Yeah.
The composite is really, really thin. So 20 seconds there.
And then give it a little flip.
Yeah, and then you'll see this hasn't really curled up. There you go.
Oh, there it is.
That was perfect, wasn't it?
Starting to attention.
So, and then here we go. So again, just kind of pull
These
it up.
squid have been well briefed.
Yeah, they have, yeah. And then just kind of turn it inside out a little bit.
Yeah.
Let it just curl up. And once it curls up, it's had about 20-30 seconds now. Just want to give it a little bit more time in there. It's not too hot. This oil in here, we've got some neutral oil, a little bit of coriander and a little bit of garlic. It's absolutely stunning. It's just been sat in there marinating. Don't be afraid, just drizzle over now, get a bit of sizzle going.
Keep using it.
And you know, there's flavour in there as well. So it's not necessarily a protein, the squid, but it really benefits in the same way that proteins do in the pan. So as well, once you see, can you see how tight that's gone now?
Yep.
Moving it around in the pan. And then just kind of like let it...
Proper sort of Swiss roll mode.
Yeah, Swiss roll. And the tighter it is, the more cooked it is. So I'd say we're probably looking 45 seconds to a minute. So like I said, don't take it too literal.
The smell in the studio now is...
So we're going to bring it over here. That's nice and cooked.
Yeah.
I'm going to pop that on there while it's hot and turn this heat off. I don't know what's wrong with me today. I just really can't get into tune with my stove. It does happen. See, football is not scoring goals. Maybe that's me and my cooker today. So just want to turn that over and kind of just nice little slices.
Oh yes.
While it's still hot. I've got asbestos hands, but I'm feeling that, guys. I'm not gonna lie. It's quite hot. Do let it cool down a little bit. And you can go as thick or as thin as you want. We just want to really get that in there while it's still hot, just to open those aromats.
There we go.
There we go. They're the nice little curls this one's given us that we're looking for. It just sits up and gives a beautiful little aesthetic kind of feel and look to the whole dish. It's absolutely stunning.
It looks beautiful. One of my lasting memories of travelling through Vietnam, down the coast, like you said. I mean, squid is everywhere, but it's when you're lying or sitting on the beach, you know, and it's dusk and the sun has set, and you're enjoying your cold beer, and you're looking out towards the horizon, and you just start seeing the lights of the squid boats all just starting to flicker on. And before you know it, there's like a sort of a...
Is that what
like
they
the
are, the
stars
little
on the horizon.
flickers?
Yeah, because they've
Squid
got these big lights, and it's the lights, of course, which attract the squid towards the boats. And that's how the fishermen get their catch.
I love that. And they're small little boats, aren't they?
Yeah.
And
there's thousands of them.
So
thousands of boats.
I'm just going to plate these guys. I'm just going to plate this.
So good.
Just want to get a nice kind of little bit of length going down the plate. It just plays really well. There's not a lot of height in the dish. And again, I'm here to offer everything, not just flavour, some food, or good chat from me and Charlie and the gang here at Cook's Tour, but also some skills from the kitchen. You know, that's what we're about, not just from Vietnam, but from the kitchen. And plating for me is everything. You smell something, it smells delicious. You see something, it's incredible, and then you taste it. It's a multi-sensory experience, isn't it? So some of that beautiful liquor over there. I mean, it's quite acidic, but again, if you think about kind of like a Mexican style slaw, it benefits from all that lime juice. This works in a very similar way. So again, doesn't really need too much faffing around. A little bit of chervil, just to add a nice little bit of texture, and a little bit of anise, which works well with seafood. So you can pop a little bit of mint on here as well. And don't worry about clashing of flavours. This is fresh, zingy, tangy, rich. And then bang, a little bit of that on there. Voila.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Golly gosh. Okay, now we're ready for pho and rice pudding.
So my rice pudding is still nice and warm, so we'll plate that last.
We'll plate that last, get the pho gum.
Let's go on with this pho. Shall we move the ball?
Shall we move the ball out of the way?
Let's do that.
'Cause that's probably a good moment to do so.
Thank you very much, Charlie. And let's bring this pho over here. So again, you can see, as I call them, little nuggies. Just smell that rich broth. Just have a little waft of that.
Oh, it's beautiful and aromatic.
And then straight over the noodles.
There they are.
So, nice portion of Wagyu on there. I mean, come on, Wagyu pho. We do treat you guys. I mean,
it's pretty knockout, isn't it?
It is. It's incredible. And just enough broth there. So there's about 400 ml of broth in there. For just over 400 broth.
And not a milliliter of that broth is going to be wasted, is it?
Nope. And do guys, the sign of affection and satisfaction in Vietnam is to slurp the rest out of the bowl. So do get involved. Yeah. My daughter likes to do it, and so do I.
So there we go. Look at that.
Beautiful pho, and then we just need 2 small bowls.
What about the crumb?
Yep, the crumb. Just to finish over there, I like to get a little bit over the egg and the herbs, and kind of leave it a little bit dry, so each mouthful you can kind of revisit that.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Steal your
So we were talking.
pot.
My rice pudding's still quite hot here.
Okay.
So we're talking about that consistency a little bit
you're letting it down with a little bit of cold water.
Yeah, and that consistency, I like it kind of, quite unctuous and velvety, and as you can see, almost like custard-like. I think it has a really nice, luxurious kind of finish. I'm not going to use a spoon because I'm going to be here all day.
What about this chap?
Yeah.
Is that useful or completely useless because it's slotted?
Well, it's got a slotted spoon in it, but I'm going to make it work.
Yeah, you'll make it work.
So, in we go. It's going to be delicious. So it's really nice here. You've got your main event and you put in all to yourselves, guys. And then you've got these nice little sharing platters as well. Yeah,
and particularly in southern Vietnam, you see sweet soups, everywhere. It's like it's a big part of how they love to eat their puddings, isn't it?
It's a great way as well to finish a meal. Yeah, definitely. And I think.
Okay, and you got your.
So, if you would be an absolute gem, here we go. It's opening, guys. Keep a close eye.
Yeah, I got.
There we go. So this, smell that. It's stunning. So there's no sugar in here as well, so don't be alarmed. Just kind of want to ribbon that in, kind of splits the coconut milk a little bit. Has a really nice looking texture to it, almost like a bit of golden syrup over some porridge. Love that kind of finish.
Yeah. Incidentally, we're plating this now, but by all means, keep your pudding on the hob and then plate it when you're ready.
And there's a perfect amount in here for 2 really generous spoonfuls. Then we're going to garnish with some coriander cress. Coriander on your dessert. So we have got a beautiful finish here with some lime jus, some black sesame, caramel, coconut rice pudding. There we have it.
Great. Well, look, come on, let's get everything into shot.
Sure. Look at that. It looks stunning. It smells, guys, here as well. I hope you're experiencing exactly the same. Smell electric.
How are we looking on the overhead cam? Have we got everything where we want it? How about that? Good. And we also got the bottle of Jules Taylor Pinot Gris, which you must try, Ryan. Let me grab a couple of glasses.
You know what? I'm not going to say you're thinking what I'm thinking. My favourite part.
Whilst I'm pouring, go on, quick overview of the menu. What have we got to?
We have got, I'll go from the starters. We've got an incredible shredded vegetable rainbow roll with a nok cham, which is a classic Vietnamese dip. We've got a beautiful salad, goi muk, which is a warm salad with a Saigon beer vinaigrette with some lime, some fresh herbs, some chili, and that toasted squid in there, just absolutely delicious. The classic Hanoi papaya salad, sweet, tangy, smoky, crunchy, nutty, absolutely phenomenal and looks the part as well. On to the main course to enjoy with that beautiful salad. We have got a classic pho with a twist. We've got some Wagyu meatballs in there with a hen's egg, and to finish, a classic kind of rice pudding that would be eaten with everything that you want from a cook's tour. A twist of black sesame caramel, kaffir lime jus, finished with coriander.
How incredible. And
there we go.
To wash it down,
drink to that. Cheers,
the Jules
Charlie.
Taylor Pinot Gris.
Cheers to you at home as well.
Yeah, happy days.
That is delicious.
That is delicious. And so, ladies and gentlemen, intrepid cooks at home, thank you very much for joining us this evening. Please do remember to take photos of your creations and post using the hashtag #CookWithRocket, and of course tag a cook's tour at the same time. And if you do, then you could be in chance of winning our competition, because the best plates of food are judged by none other than Chef Ryan himself, will win a free box to our next destination in 2 weeks' time, which I have to say is not one to be missed, because we are inviting a special guest to the Cook's Tour studio, Calvin von Niebel, who is executive head chef of Ottolenghi. That's right, we are going to be going to Beirut, where we're going to uncover Lebanese food like never before with executive head chef Calvin from Ottolenghi. So please do join us for that. It's going to be sensational, and there are things like sardines and spatchcock chicken on the menu, and you're going to be making wonderful tabbouleh. So the rest, the menu is sensational. So do check it all out on our website, and please make sure that you book your spot on that tour destination. And do refer friends and family. Lots of great opportunities there to bring your friends and family on board to join the Cook's Tour experience. So that's it from us.
It is. Time to tuck in.
Time to tuck in. Thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.